when we talk about that, okay, money got the award and all of that. And I was just kind of thinking about it, and somebody said, oh, money must be so happy. And I said, well, just from what I spoke yesterday, money was really happy that I didn't cling to anything. That I didn't, when he said you can create meetings and you can manifest this and you can manifest that. And when I said I don't want to manifest anything, I'm perfectly okay with not manifesting. I can't think of anything to manifest. And he danced with joy at that. So somebody said, ki, oh, money must be so happy. And I said, you really think money cares? No. But money created, it was a moment of joy. And we all felt so happy. I was dancing with joy. So my frequency of happiness was given an extra push yesterday with this amazing, beautiful news that we got. So all of us got happy. We all felt the joy of it, and that's all it is. So we tuned into a frequency of joy and happiness with that piece of news outside. But as far as the accolades and the medals and the name and the fame goes, well, this is the same money who even made me quit my job and said, ki, okay, this is not your path. And this going and sitting in one room and just sitting and writing a journal is your path. And I was actually doing so well in my career. I was doing so well. I was so well known. I had, in microfinance and international microfinance, all of those people knew me. I was famous. And in all of that, this one message comes, and I didn't even know who the message was coming from, but it was coming from Money Frequency. And he says, this is the end of your path. And now your new path starts, and you have to quit your job. And it took me 3 days to quit my job. But that was still talking of money, the frequency. When it actually came to money being, a father, there was absolutely no doubt. There was zero doubt in anybody's mind as to how much love he had for his children. Me and my brother, oh my God, he had so much love for us. And in turn, we totally could see the love. And it was just amazing to be in that presence of that love, because we could see the love. And yet he was so demanding. As a father, he was so demanding. And especially from me, I was this older child, and he had all of his attachments and expectations and everything, you name it. He had all of that set on me. So kuch bhi kar lo, the thing would be ki, bas itna hi. So I used to, at school, I would come like second, third or something. And I didn't study too much beyond that, because I thought second, third was good enough. And every time I would take the report card, I would put it on his bed, because it would be seen by him when he came home. I would stand at the door, because no matter what the report card looked like, he would look at it and it would be thrown. It would be thrown to me at the door. मतलब ये क्या marks लेके आए हो, something or the other. So no matter what the report card looked like, oh my God, it was always going to be thrown out of the room. And yet it was hilarious, because he was like, this is not good enough and this is not good enough. But if outside half a person, forget anybody from the outside, even if my mother was to take a complaint for me to him, oh, they've had it. He cannot, he's the only one who can complain. He's the only one who can do things. Nobody else was allowed to say anything against me. I truly know, he used to be the advisor to Indira Gandhi. And so many people would be coming and saying, ye kaam karwa do, wo kaam karwa do. And, when people would kind of see through it, and then I was like the apple of his eyes. So they would say, acha, wo beti to bade din se ghar nahi aayi hai, to uske liye एक ट्रिप करवा देते हैं, she should come and meet with you, दिल्ली का ट्रिप लगवा देते हैं, because I was posted in Bombay in those days. वो ट्रिप लगवा लेते हैं. ओहो, हाँ बेटा, कब मीटिंग चाहिए थी आपको मिसेस गांधी से, आपको कौन सी मीटिंग थी, कितनी बार चाहिए थी, मतलब at the smallest of things. And because the one thing that he didn't do, that job was such that he could have made a lot of money, but he didn't make any money. He was like कि मैं अपने शिव के पास बैठा. And this was okay. So I have to tell you this most amazing thing. His priorities were so amazingly clear. His priorities were so amazingly clear He was a press advisor to Indira Gandhi, and also then later on to even to Shankar Dayal Sharma and so many other people. Can't remember the whole political stuff, but he was that when he would sit down to pray to Shiva, and every day he had about 1 hour, 1.5 hours talking to Shiva, doing his meditations, and 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours would go by. In the middle of all of that, the phones would keep ringing. Those were the days of landlines. The phones would keep ringing. And if the phone is ringing and it is, PM office, and he'd be like, Ki, mana kar do. And he set up a meeting over there at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock has happened. He is still in conversation with Shiva. And he is not moving from there. And he is running late. And I would start to feel panic that, oh my God, PM office is calling and he's still here. And I would ask him, I said, PM office was calling. You could do your prayers later. Shivji khan dode ja rahe. Because that's how I thought about it. Shivji to yahi hai. वो PM ने time दिया, at least go and talk to the PM. So Shivji to yahi, Shivji khan दौड़े जा रहे हैं. And he would always tell me, he said, मैं अपने boss से बात कर रहा था. I'm talking to my boss, and I'm talking to him. I'm having a conversation. He is the one that I'm reporting into, because those people need me. So they are calling me. Whether it's the prime minister or it's the speaker or it's the minister of this place, they need me. And that's why they're calling me. And I need this guy. And so I'm talking to him. And so he would do his conversations with Shiva for 2 hours, for 3 hours. And then she says, Iti says, and we are listening to our boss. Yeah, right. You're listening to our boss. Huh? So anyways, but he would do those conversations and not move. And so beautifully clear his priorities were. To tell you why those people needed him. He was just a writer and he met with Mrs. Gandhi and she was sharp and she recognized something about him and then she kept him on board. But what was this that she recognized? So whatever is the scenario that's cooking up, or let's say there's something happening in Karnataka and there's a situation and that somebody is looking to, okay, what to do? And Mani Madhukar would come up with, okay, like something similar happened in, he'll say about 60 years ago or whenever. And when that happened in that place, that fellow who was the chief minister did this, but it didn't go right in this aspect. It went right in that aspect. We can take that part of the solution and add more of this to it. And together with this new solution should work. But he would do this, quoting incidents, ministers, everything from like 30 years ago, 40 years ago. And everybody used to be like, Matlab, he's got everything stored over here. What kind of a brain does he have? Because it was a fully like it was automated, like large computer system running right over there. And he was able to reference events, reference people, and give them the solution that would totally make sense. And then they would be like, oh my God, like, yeah, this makes sense. And so all of the people, no matter where they were stuck, whether it was their personal life or whether ChatGPT, yeah, ChatGPT will just simply put the information out in front of you and now you do the analysis. So he was the one who would do the entire analysis and things would come out of his mouth. But here's the beautiful part, right? Even he, in these parts, he was unaware. So he says, I don't know, when I read something, I just kind of remember it and I'm able to reference it. But now, when I am on this path and I have started to recognize that this place sits empty most of the time, but whenever something is needed, whatever is needed, it comes to you, it is given to you on a platter because you're tapping into universal intelligence in those frequencies. And that's what was happening to him. And we didn't understand it. And actually, this part, even he didn't understand himself as well. Now, here's the fun thing, because yesterday also we were talking about it. If we wanted to tell him something, we would first go and say, you don't say no. Because if something comes out of his mouth, oh, it would become the truth. it would manifest. And so this is exactly what was happening over there, that whether that was the real solution or not, but he had spoken it as the solution, it would bloody become the solution. And it would be, and then people were like, oh my God, whatever he says, that's the right solution. When we were young, people were just always coming to him to ask for solutions. And we always got to hear that, wow, Maniji said this, and it's exactly how the way it worked. So he has amazing forecasting powers, and he has amazing analysis powers. But his frequency of that manifestation was so powerful. Whatever came out of his mouth would become the truth, would become the solution, because he was saying it's the solution. And so it would become the solution. So amazing to be in that space. Anyways, time went on. Some fun stories about him being a father. People say, like, no, you speak so well and you do this so well. And I just simply have, money to thank for it, that I have zero fear, zero stage fright, only because he put me through the worst experiences possible. So many of you who have seen, Mani Madhukar, the poet, that Sahitya Kala Academy had created those Doordarshan documentaries, and it's there on the MPFY Fund website as well. We've got some parts of it. But you know that the one who is talking to him, that, the person who's interviewing him is me. Yeah, because he wouldn't work with anybody else. Like when television is producing the series and they've got like a full compares and these MCs and these known people who are known for this, no, I'll only work with my daughter. So everybody used to be like, oh my God, kitna वो क्या कहते हैं ना उसको, कितना nepotism. Oh my God, मतलब अपनी बेटी को कितना promote करता है ये आदमी. And I would be like कि कोई बचा लो मुझे इस promotion से, because this is how it always was. So Mani was also the executive chairman of this large press organization called National Press India, and he was the chairman. And NPI used to give out these very, very prestigious awards every year to, to like the who's who of the country, of outside the countries. So whenever the decision of those awards was made, now there would be an award ceremony, and it would only be at 2 or 3 venues. So either the venue would be the President House, or the Prime Minister's house, or the Parliament House. So if it's a very large award ceremony, it would have to be at the Parliament House. Otherwise, if it's a 50 people, 100 people ceremony, now it's going to be at the President House or the Prime Minister House, in those, very, very close coterie of people. But who will be the MC? Oh, I work only with Meenal. Yeah, so Meenal is going to be the MC. So what would he do? Because now here's the thing, because when you work with an outside MC, and let's say you're giving an award ceremony and the award is going out to 15 people, and those 15 people, all of these people who are like so immensely famous people, their resumes run to 20 pages. They've done this and they've done that, and they're putting all of that stuff down in their biodata. That is what it used to be called. And they're sending their biodatas to the NPI office. Mani now brings all of those biodatas at home, and then he hands them over to Meenal. Because now Meenal, beta ye rahe 20 page ke biodata, and now you do one thing for each speaker, because as they're coming to receive the reward, you talk about them. You read those 20 pages, you create 2 paragraphs. Yeah, this is what nobody else from the outside will do. He would be sitting and creating, or somebody in the office would, aur wo unko pasand aate nahi. So he would have again given it to, me, or done it himself. So, beta, look, here, you take these 400 pages. These are the 40 people who are getting the awards this time. You take all of their material. Then you create the 2 paragraphs for each. I was like, ki Pitaji ne bol diya. Yeah, I mean, knowing all the love, everything. But if he ever said Meenal in a louder voice, I would be like, ding, 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 ding. So if he is given this to me, yes, Papa. And the yes, Papa. And then 3 days, I was also working, but within 3 days, I would have this ready and I would give it to him. In 3 days, 4 days, my part of the work would be done. And he will look at it and very good, very good. And now he'll put it in his briefcase. Now time will go by. If there are 15 days to the award ceremony, then 15 days will go by. And now we are heading, the award ceremony is at 12 in the afternoon at, let us say, the PM house. Yeah. And at 9 o'clock, we are heading towards the venue. And he said, Minal, you sit with me. He and I are sitting in the car, and he will take out that thing that I gave him for the very first time. Yeah. 2 hours, 2 hours to the bloody function. And it's happening in PM house. So I think PM is going to be there, and then not just one PM, 28 other big dignitaries are going to be there. He is opening that Pulinda for the first time as to what I have to speak. And he's opening up those documents, and then he goes like this. He's reading it. Okay, nice. You know what? Instead of this line, you should say this line first. So let me write this line over here. And on the corner of the page, he will put this line on the corner of the page. And he'll leave the next line. Yeah, but this line you can say before this. Okay, now he's marking those before this, after this, corner this, on top of this, and after this person, the next person you should call should be the one on page 8. Okay, so this is number 1, page 8 is number 2, and the same thing over there. Side में ये पढ़ देना, कोने में ये कर देना, इसके बाद ये कर देना. And this is how he gives me my speech at last minute to do. And I used to be like, every time, Kasai hai, Kasai mera baap. So each time it was like so much of panic internally, because if it goes wrong, कोई और तो कुछ कहेगा ही नहीं ना, किसी की हिम्मत नहीं है. बट वो तो जान ले लेंगे ना मेरी अगले साल तक, जब तक कि अवार्ड फंक्शन दोबारा से नहीं आ जाता. एंड आई कांट डू एवरीथिंग राइट. ही इज लाइक, एक काम दिया था वो नहीं होता, एक काम दिया था वो नहीं होता. He is going to be after my life. So, oh my God. So I would sit and I would be like, like I didn't even know how to release my anxiety in those days. But I would be sitting and there would be just enough time. There would be just enough time for me to be reading one paragraph at a time. So I read out this paragraph, that fellow is coming and everybody is clapping, this, that, and the other. I only had that much time while they're clapping and all of that to read the next one just quickly once, and then to read it out fully in front of all of those people. And it was so funny because the only way that I could bring myself to that space was by saying, अरे ये पीएम भी तो कितनी गलतियां करता है, हाँ, इसको कौन कुछ बोलता है, हाँ, ये भी तो मेरे जैसा ही है, इसको भी, इसने कल रात को गलत खाना खाया तो इसको भी रात भर नींद नहीं आएगी, उसको भी बदहजमी हो जाएगी. So those were my ways of talking to myself to say, it's okay to make mistakes, nobody will catch it, I should just keep smiling. Nobody will catch my mistakes if I just keep smiling. And those were all things that I kept saying to myself as I was delivering, to the outside. But so much of panic. Then, and then that's why all my life I had a marketing job. I was able to equalize everyone because of this practice that he gave me. Normally, what happens when we are in a marketing job or we're in front of our, such high dignitaries and all of that, we get very nervous. We lose our confidence and we are not ourselves. But to bring ourselves to equalization, well, because of all the fire that he put me through, that I'm able to do all of that. And I noticed that nobody, no matter who it is, people would be like, you are sitting in front of the Reliance CEO and you are like cracking jokes at him, like how can you even do that? I was like, kya karega, usko bhi kal raat ko constipation raha hoega, wo bhi mere jaisa hi hai. So what is it? He's sitting in that seat, I'm sitting in this seat, it doesn't matter. But this I was only able to learn because Mani threw me into that space. Kasai. So that was Mani. So such high expectations, but as a father. But magic, oh my God, magic we saw all the time. His Shiva we saw all the time. And this last one story for today, he was again going for a meeting in the night for the politicians, because when you are like connected to the politicians, all the meetings happen only in the night. So he used to be part of many such meetings. So he was going someplace. We had all gone out for dinner. He put us in a taxi and he said, you guys go home and I have a meeting to go to. So I'll be moving from there. Sure. regular thing. The next, so this happened and he went off. And the next morning, my mom asks my dad, who did you bring yesterday in into the house? Because my father would pick up people from the streets, like koi bhi mil gaya to usko ghar pe le aayenge, or wherever he gets guided to do that, right? So he was very much moving as per guidances. But my mother asked, like, who did you get last night? Because whoever you got, that fellow was stinking. The fellow was thinking of that agarbatti ka dhoop and all of that. And my mom, she used to not like the smell of agarbatti. She couldn't breathe through that. So whoever the dad would have brought had so much of a stink of agarbatti that my mom said, in my sleep also I could see that I can't breathe. But who did you bring? And that's when dad told what had happened. So, and he said, I was at the Ames crossing, in Delhi. You have that Ames crossing. Today, I think there are many flyovers there or something, but that old Ames crossing. So I was at the Ames crossing and I'm going. And then out of the corner of my eye, I suddenly saw that there's a truck which is right here. And the truck was coming at me and I was at a speed that I couldn't do anything. And so I knew that this was the end. And so I shut my eyes and I said, Om Namah Shivaya. And I waited for the truck to hit me. And there was nothing I could do, not even brake or anything. So I just said, Om Namah Shivaya. And I said, okay, this is it. So I closed my eyes. And he said, after about a couple minutes, I opened my eyes and I saw the truck going by. I saw the truck going by. And he said, then I looked at my foot. It was on the accelerator. And then I looked at the car and the car was going back. So he said all of this. And then he said, then I looked at the side seat and Shiva was there. And then he said, and then I came back home. And then he said, I was too shaken up. I just turned around the car. I came back home. But you are telling me, because, he said, I saw, and Shiva was sitting right next to me in the seat right next to me. And he says, you are telling me, but it only tells me that Shiva dropped me all the way back to the room. And only then he said, Acha, ab main jata hu. Because it was Shiva, which, that strong smell of bhabhuti and agarbatti and all of that stuff that my mom experienced. So we lived, and there was not a moment of, because there were so many stories of this kind that we were always, witness to, we were privy to, that it, for a moment also, it didn't hit us to say, कि, ऐसा थोड़ी होता है, because we to know कि ऐसा होता है. We knew, मतलब while listening to him, we totally knew कि हाँ, ऐसा ही तो हुआ, because, उनके साथ ऐसा ही होता है. So we knew that he used to have so many magical moments with Shiva, and that's why he used to spend 2 hours talking to his boss. That's so beautiful. So amazing. The magic. So yeah, so we will talk about some more magic and some more magic is coming. Let's recall those stories, when I normally do these webinars and we always talk about money, the frequency. That's what comes to speak. But yesterday has given us an opportunity to talk about money, the man's life. And what an amazing life it was.